Thank you, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Speaker. Me too, on behalf of my people of Kiriwina, Goodenough, I'd like to congratulate the Prime Minister, congratulate you as well, the people of Makam for voting you one more time, and also take this opportunity to congratulate all the ministers who've been appointed to your respective portfolios. Misa planti bula new plano portfolios, so it will take time for you to settle down. So the member for Lay and the Minister for Lands has been there for a while, and I think it is only proper that I ask him a question. But at this juncture, let me take this opportunity also to congratulate the two honorable ladies, members, the governor and the member for Right Coast. It is very refreshing to have a voice of a woman, representing women on this floor. And I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate you. I'd like to also, would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the leader of the opposition, Honorable Joe Leland, in his new seat. Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Lands. And in the recently, we have been seen on social media. It also appeared in the newspapers of the land being taken from the people of Papua New Guinea. And I'm referring to the conflict group of islands in Milne Bay Province. There are 22 islands just off the coast of Samarai Island, heading to Missima Islands. And interestingly, this group of islands have come out to be sold. And what concerns me is this. There is a PNG registered company owned by an expatriate, and he's coming to acquire these islands. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, the concern that I have here is so many times here in our country, this beautiful island of Papua New Guinea, we allow foreigners to come in, acquire land, and then after some time decide to sell it. And they acquire it very, very cheaply. Now, time more like Salim. Oh, Salim look big money. Now, question blow me go awesome. Me all island people, we depend on these islands. I come from a group of islands, the Turban Islands and the Goodenough Islands, including the Esalas. Na mibla look go to Samarai Island, Samarai Murua, and mibla look in this group of islands that are traditional hunting grounds for our people. All of a sudden, out of interest, somebody comes and acquires these islands. And our people cannot be allowed even to rest on those islands. Traveling by their traditional canoes, traveling by motorized dinghies, those were traditionally resting places and hunting grounds for our people. Today, our people cannot rest on those grounds because you got one white man or an expatriate and stop these islands. And got dogs. Now time our man come up, our dogs go running more. Now, my concern, Mr. Speaker, MOSM, this is a conflict group of islands, a freehold the land, and owned by a PNG registered company. So that registered company, white man. Now, why do we have to allow them to come in, or come inside working business? Now, time they are dissatisfied because of one reason or the other. They decide that we will sell it. Now, in the social media, they have indicated that they are prepared to sell those group of islands for $30 million. $30 million. Awesome, Mr. Speaker. Question blow me awesome. If these islands is on state lease, please forfeit the title and return the title back to the state or to the Milne Bay provincial government. Number two, if it's customary land, get our law enforcement agencies in and return the land to our people. Suppose you mean like continue law, this like arrangement. Minister for Lands, the chair. I think a good plata solo sem. You mean kisi more genuine investors lo come inside. Investors who are prepared to come and invest on these islands because they are a beautiful group of islands. Now tourism is an attraction to outsiders, this group of islands. Let's bring people who will invest out there and generate more income, and not only income but employment for our people. Number one, you may revoke him lease past time. If I can get some assurance from the Minister for Lands. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and thank you for the very important question the Honourable Member for Kiriwina, Goodenough, has given me today. I'd like to first of all congratulate the Deputy Speaker on your unanimous appointment. I'd like to also take this opportunity to congratulate the Prime Minister on his unanimous appointment. I would also like to congratulate the opposition leader and the deputy opposition leader on their appointments. It is good to have a very strong opposition so that we keep everyone in check and balance. I would also like to congratulate every single member of parliament sitting in here on your re-election. Thank you, Luki again. Sampla Olpla Wanwok na, Sampla Nubla Wanwok. I'd like to make special mention of the two female representatives that sit here with us in Parliament today. Thank you, Line Blupla, Lo Vote Yupla come inside. It's a big privilege to look Yupla, now walk one Yupla here. I will do my best as a Deputy Prime Minister to work closely with the both of you. I would also like to say thank you to my people of Lae for giving me a unanimous vote of confidence to come back on the first count. Thank you, Trulo Line Domilo Lae. Back to the conflict islands. It's quite a coincidence that you asked me this question today because I actually have a brief that I asked for when the situation came through the social media, and I asked my department, because of the importance of the case, to prepare a brief for me and a press release so I can be able to do a press release for a country, as it is a matter of serious concern. So I'll just go through a quick few points here. The conflict islands, the sales and transfer can be made only to a PNG citizen. The questions we ask: how did the current title holder, believed to be a non-PNG citizen, come to own these freehold titles for 20 years? Because Section 56 of the Papua New Guinea National Constitution precludes non-citizens from owning freehold land titles. We must also understand there are three types of land holdings that we have in Papua New Guinea. One is alienated land, and also the government giraun, yumi baim. Then there is freehold land that was acquired through a colonial history. With that freehold land, the lands minister does not, through the law, does not have the power to forfeit that. That is by law also. Then you have customary land. Kind of some plenty line or members of parliament or people or citizens ask for evictions of people on customary lands. Customary lands is owned by the landowner. Me as a lands minister, me na pe victim man lo ground blue yet. Em ground blue yet. You yet work em deal na salim dis la ground blue yet. That em triple side block ground lo Papua New Guinea em yumi holim now. We are looking at ways to amend some of these acts, especially pertaining to freehold land, most of which are owned by our churches. So Mipla try and work him so that he comes under the auspices of the lands department and the minister responsible, whoever it is at the time. We are also trying to amend a few more laws, some of which were brought before our last parliament before we raised from parliament, to ensure that land is protected for us, but at the same time make it more visible for development, and also working in having a conducive environment with our customary landowners. That is, in case you see the Tuhava land project that has allowed us to acquire 585 hectares, working in cohesion with the developers and the landowners, converting that from customary land into alienated land, giving them a 99-year lease, and having that 99-year lease being made available for development and making the land become bankable and valuable. The Tuhava people through that conversion, have a value on that land of about 200 million kina, from being zero value to 200 million kina. Now they have a partnership and a development that constitutes nearly 1.6 billion investment on 585 hectares. And that is what the Lands Department will be pursuing to try to free up a lot more customary land. And I will be working closely with a lot of our new members on this, especially near our towns, cities, where we need land for expansion and for agricultural developments, which is part of our Pangu-led coalition government's views to open up land for our country. Back to the conflict islands. The Department of Lands, I have already asked them to institute an investigation to establish the status of these titles, which are freehold, and second, the way these titles were created and granted to, we believe, a PNG non-citizen. I would like to encourage the current title holder to come forward voluntarily and discuss these issues with me. The position of the government of PNG through the Office of the Minister for Lands and Physical Planning is that these islands and the sea belong to the broader global community because it is a part of the marine and sea life that sustains our global marine and pristine ecosystem. Therefore, PNG, as a custodian of these parts of the global marine ecosystem, intends to declare the conflict islands as a conservation protected area to be administered by a special purpose vehicle that has the same statute as Australia's Great Barrier Reef. That is my view, and which I will be pursuing. In summary, the conflict islands cannot be sold to non-citizens. That is my stand, and the PNG government stand. There will be an investigation to establish the status and the way the title was created and awarded in the first instance. The islands will be declared as a conservative, protected area to be administered by a special purpose vehicle, as I alleged earlier, like the Great Barrier Reef, to protect it for our children to benefit from in future years. I'll be working closely with the Milne Bay Provincial government to ensure that this is carried out. For the temporary time being, I will not allow the conflict islands to be sold under my watch. I will be pursuing properly talks with the current owner to see a way forward for this, but with a very firm view that will not allow these islands to be sold. Likewise, other protected areas that we have in Papua New Guinea. We'll also be looking into the laws in amending some of the freehold issues that we have so that we can take back some of the lands that the current minister or the Department of Lands cannot administer. Like we cannot forfeit freehold land. One time this slide me talk. Thank you, Lord. Good luck question. And while I have the floor, I'd also like to talk a line that a lot of our medium housing developments that we have now 4,000, we are partnering with 4,000 people in Tuhava to allow 4,000 houses to be built there to alleviate housing in Port Moresby. 2,000 with the super funds, the comrade trustees, to allow another 2,000 houses there, and another 1,300 at Egan Barracks in Lane. So we'll be putting nearly 8,000 houses onto the market for medium income tax earners. Those 8,000 houses comes at cost, no cost to government. We have not put one toya into developing any of this. This will be done in partnership with super funds with big business ventures, so they incur all the costs for the development of all these allotments, working in partnership on alienated land and working in partnership with customary landowners. That is for medium income earners. And we'll also be targeting working in cohesion with the current housing minister to try to also free up land for lower income earners. People like our drivers, security guards, our taxi drivers, Nolkai and Trangu Line Bimi, we are working at that in the view to developing those land to Blongol. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.